All right. All right, making sure that that's squared away. Switch back over. On YouTube. Okay. Good to go. Kick. Alrighty. Cool, cool, cool. Okay, let's do it. Alright. Oh, sorry, Bubbas. Where'd they go? There they go. Okay, everything's good to go. Everything's working. Got that. Okay. All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Commissar Hecht, and welcome to another edition of Warhammer painting. I know I've been painting a while, or painting a lot for the last few streams. I just want to get a lot of my stuff done, like a lot of the pile of shame done before I say pile of shame, but really it's a lot of plastic that I got to get painted together before we be actually PCS in potentially in January. Hey, knock it off, guys. Sorry, my cats were fighting. Uh, Stop. Come here. All right. Sorry, cats were fighting. Um. Anyway, where was I? Yeah. So I know I've been doing a lot of painting streams. That I'm gonna switch to gaming tonight and Saturday, but I really want to do as much painting as possible because realistically, I only have a few more months of actual good weather before it starts to snow. So what I want to do is paint everything that I've got built and prime the rest that I've got uh, um, before the good weather goes away. Uh, because you can only prime, for those of you that don't know, priming a model, you can only prime at certain degrees. Otherwise, the primer doesn't sit right on the plastic, and it'll either crack or bubble, or it will freeze, and it's not going to do well for the paint. So the whole goal is to get everything done and painted and get everything squared away, so I can one have a playable army when I get back to the states and my household goods come in and all that stuff, and then two, oh yeah, that's another thing. As soon as my household goods, most of my armies are going to get packed, built or not built. So what I really want to do is just start hammering out painting as much as possible. Um, and I think I'm going to try and take some leave sometime around my birthday, provided everything goes well. And really um, and really just like get that squared away. Um, and like do one more hurrah. Uh, um, One more hurrah with painting and all that stuff, and then get that squared away and done, and then I can then focus on gaming and all that stuff, and then I'll be doing more gaming. Oh no, did that? Tell me that didn't. Okay. Whew. I was gonna get mad. All right, I gotta double check my paint pots. But I really want to get everything done and painted and squared away before like my household goods get packed up and everything. That's provided that the Air Force, you know, uh, continues their what's it called? Um, doesn't freeze the PCS cycle for January and all that stuff. But with that being said, um, today we're gonna finish these stormtroopers, or not these stormtroopers, but these regular guardsmen, these 40K beret guardsmen. And like I said, with every and if you guys are like traditional watchers and whatnot, you know the deal. You know the deal. You know what this is all about. You know what I'm all about, and it's raising money for charity and all that stuff. Um, so here, let's just quickly put this in the. Whoops! Something went wrong. Retry again later. That's not good. Let's just hop in, um, and let's put this in the chat real quick, and then we'll do Kick as well. And I'm streaming on Kick as well, simply to try and try and see what's going to be more successful, right? Um, I mean, if I get super successful in at Kick, I might drop everything altogether and uh, go Kick. I might stay on Twitch. It really all depends on what's going on, right? So it's kind of the deal. Anyway, let's get into it, shall we? Yeah, eyeballs. We're gonna struggle with eyeballs today. Because I always struggle making them. It's a bit of a challenge, really. Okay. Yeah. But then the only thing left that we have out of this 25-man team. Oh, hey, Tip Top Baker. How are you, good sir? I'm okay. You know, it's I'm stomach's kind of in knots, unfortunately. I don't know if I think I've overdone it with breakfast. Because I was like feeling super peckish, super hungry, and so I had two burritos for breakfast. But it's tying me in knots, really. Um, the burritos weren't too large, but I think maybe something's just not sitting right in my stomach. You know, but I figure doing some painting will do good for me. Um, works okay. Just getting back into the swing of things because I hadn't been working flight in a hot minute. Um, and So trying to get back into the groove of that and doing it right and proper. You know, making sure making sure that everything I do is to the best of my ability, right? And I'm pretty sure everyone does that. But like, I don't want to. I want to be effective. So I figure, well, if I got a bit of a stomach ache, and you know, been trying to think about like trying to be effective at work and all that stuff. I was like, you know what, a little bit of paint should probably put some things into perspective. A little bit of clarity in life. Because nothing really clears you out mentally, in my opinion. And I think I can say this with a little bit of chest, right? I can say this with planting 10 toes down, and say this with all honesty. Um, I, oh, excuse me. I enjoy the hobby of Warhammer um, a little bit more because um, I think painting is quite soothing. So if I if I had a stressful day, like there are days where like even if it's like super stressful days, I don't think I'm in the proper mood to paint. But days where I'm kind of feeling a little overwhelmed, and I might be losing sight of whatever it is that's on my mind, or I'm struggling to figure out an issue, and right, it's not like if I go to mental health, like it's not close to my appointment time or whatnot. A little bit of paint, especially during the evenings, or like days like this where it's nice and sunny out. So the one thing I would love to do is actually paint during the sun because that's like natural light, and I can figure out what's going on with how the paint is falling on the brush and all that stuff. But unfortunately, I don't have the setup for that. I'm probably gonna have to try and do that at some point. Do like a good weather painting. Oh, you know what would be cool? Getting a um I think what would be awesome is like getting a uh like designing a uh like having a part of a house, right? Um and designing it like a little hobby space, a little stream space where you can have it'd be almost be like a tower of solitude almost, but it'd be like a tower, but like you've got the you've got like a broad window, like or several windows, right, to face the sun as it rotates through the sky. Maybe a skylight for natural sunlight for the noontime, and then you've got your desk, right, and as the sun turns, right, you set it up. Um, I think that'd be kind of cool. I think that'd be slick. It maybe, and if not like a tower, right? Like a larger open office with with larger roofs that face the predominant sun, face the predominant sun side of a house, and then you can do your painting then and all that stuff. I think that'd be kind of cool. I think that'd be a neat setup. You can open up the windows, have screens, let the fresh air in, have curtains if you want to like draw the curtains and all that stuff. Yeah, I think that'd be kind of cool. And then what I'm thinking is that if I ever get a room to myself, right, have like the backboard area be all like the bookcases of 40K and the models, something similar to Altus, where I had an Altus where it was like 40K stuff, Warhammer stuff, all that stuff. Maybe some stuff about the Air Force days. You know, I think that'd be kind of cool, but it's neither here nor there right now. Oh man. we're going to fix the mouths now. Just because, well, first we're going to let that dry. All right. Let's see. Yes. Well, hold on. Do I want to give him? Hold on. Let's see what we got. We got plasma gun. Lost pistol, bolt pistol, lost pistol. Power sword. Power sword. So we got 2 power swords. Can we let's see here. Chain sword. A little tired. I'm going to go to work. I work on 120 Astra Militarum Sergeants and I. We can hobby together on opposite sides of the world. Feel free to call out. Oh, yeah. Thank you very much. I don't. Unfortunately, I don't have the lurk command just yet, but I do appreciate it. But 120 snipers? Woof. Woof. That's crazy. That's a lot of heavy snipers. If betting was still a thing. See this bolt pistol. But I want to give him plasma pistols. Plasma. Let's see. Okay, yeah, the command squad was supposed to be on 28mm. Son of a gun. Well, I made that mistake. Well, what I could do is I could just cut the ridges off and put them back on. That's what I'm going to have to do. Yeah. Damn it. Let's see this one. That's 28. That's 28. That's 28. The 2 sergeants are 28. Yeah. Son of a gun. Yeah, damn it. Alright, well, mistakes can be fixed. See, because he has sergeant stripes, and that's the thing, is that he's not a sergeant, he's an officer. I'll figure it out, I guess. So one thing I don't understand about, like, 40k rank insignia is that they take, obviously, from real life rank insignia, right? But then they do something silly, like throw 2 stripes over Acadian Gate and call it good. It's like, no, that's not it. Like, he's got captain's bars, and then he's got like uh an old sergeant's chevron. Which I guess could be like campaign stripes potentially, but it's just like, nah, it's not how ranking structures work. And then you have other ranking pips like captain's bars with 3 sergeant stripes, and it's just like, that's. Can you pick a command system that works? All right. Well, we're gonna have to finesse something. Question is what? See, those are sergeant stripes and whatnot. That's a plasma pistol. Wonder how that would look. Almost looks too bulky, and it's not gonna fit right. Yeah. Yeah. How about this power sword? See, that kind of works. I got plenty of these kicking around. Yeah, I think that's what we'll do. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. I don't know why I'm tired, but I am. Alright, so we'll do the power swords for the sergeant because they're in the actual Astra Militarum. I know this is the older codex and it's not the index, but in the actual Astra Militarum codex, there's the troops section. Troops. And squad, guns go, abilities, infantry squad. The sergeant can replace the following chainsword with a power sword. And the sergeant can replace the following lost pistol with a plasma gun, a bolt gun, or, plasma pistol, bolt pistol, or bolt gun. So, with that in mind, Mazel Tov. So with that in mind, this is my plan. This is my plan. My plan is I'm going to do some power swords. And we're going to switch them up every once in a while. Let's see, where is those spare bits? Where are those bits? Bits. Are they over there? No. Are they over here? Let's see. Oh. This is promising. Eldar. Plasma guns. No, those are good. Those are going to be important. Hey! Alright, power swords. And hey! Alright. Chain swords. Alright, here we go. Yeah. Alright. So, I got myself this chesty cough that I can't seem to get away. And it's cool because then, like, how I'm going to modify this is, right, so, like, if I'm doing some minor modifications, so, like, well, let me show you what I'm about to do. I think it'll look really fucking cool. I think it'll look incredibly cool. So, this is a bit that is it's a bionic sword, right? It's a power sword attached to a bionic arm, right? Shows that a guy's lost his arm in combat, right? But he's still fighting for the Emperor. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut off the hand, right? Cut the power cord. And then put the bionic hand onto a regular sleeve, right? And let me show you what I mean by that. All right, a regular sleeve like this. Okay. And it'll look like, because I've already got one that's squared away, this. It'll look like this. That's what it'll look like. Pretty cool, right? And I can paint it bronze to show that it's still a bionic arm, right? But it'll actually look like a sword, right? So that's obviously the goal. But then I also get this, which is a bionic arm with a chain sword. So I could put that on one of my sergeants. So with that being said, I'm gonna modify them because some of the arms, right? Some of the old arms have sergeant stripes on them, right? Some of the old Cadian kits have sergeant stripes on them. If I can zoom out. Oh, it almost did. It almost did it. Oh, come on and focus. Yeah. See, so it's got some sergeant stripes right there. Focus. Anyway, it's got sergeant stripes. You could just trust me on that. Um, and that's how we'll do some power swords with sergeants. And then I guess we can do regular bionic arms too occasionally, but I want to modify that, so we're gonna start doing that. Ba, 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 ba. So we got to kind of be careful because we don't want to screw this up. I wish I actually had an X-Acto blade for this, but all I got are clippers. So it's gonna have to be a bit of a delicate surgery. There we go. Oh, nuts. I cut his son of a gun. Okay, well, nothing we can do about that now. What I can do is I can fix that and cut the wrists. Kinda works. See if I can't. See if I can't shave that down a little bit more. Yeah, I think I'm gonna need X-Acto blades for this. Son of a gun. That's tough. Hold on. I know I got a file somewhere. Uh, you know, it's okay. Mistakes can happen. I'm not one to not admit that. Mistakes can happen. And as long as you try and correct it the best of your ability, and I really, as much as I give this advice, I really also should learn from it as well, because I'm in the middle of such epiphanies. You know, mistakes can happen as long as you try and correct it to the best of your ability, and you are honest in that pursuit of correction. like you truly mean it. You truly mean it. You can, because you've got a vision in your head of what it is to know what you screwed up on, right? It's like, okay, I screwed up on this. How do I fix it? Well, I've got this vision in my head to fixing things, and I need to be there. I need to know what right in my mind looks like. Okay, and that's with anything. Oh, we're actually pretty close. Okay. Hey, hey, hey. Ah, that's not too bad. That actually worked. That's not too bad at all. Okay. And then I got some liquid green stuff, so we can actually kind of work with it a little bit more and fill in some of the gaps and make it kind of look. Let's see. A mistake corrected. You know. I know you can't see it on camera, but because I don't have like a full. The one thing I don't have is like an honest to God like camera setup that actually would work. Oh, that's not too bad. There. Oh. Got stuck on my fingers. Come on. Set. I need you to set. Well, that's not too bad. Ah, that's pretty damn good. Oh, I like that. We're just gonna let that dry for a bit, and then we can do some liquid green stuff to make the sleeve, and then hey, that's not bad at all. I like that. That's pretty good. All right, now we just need to fix this one. Well, that actually works out too. Hey, cooking with gas. Cooking with gas. And spray a little bit of, like, after we do the liquid green stuff, spray a little bit of primer on there, and you could barely tell. Now, don't get me wrong. I always love it when people can figure out what the heavy modifications and all that stuff. But I think that worked out pretty damn good. Ah. Oh. Look at that. That right there. That's some solid work. That is some solid work, if I do say so myself. I am very proud of that. All right. Oh yeah. Where is that? Where are those lost pistols? There. Ba, 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 ba. All right. Now the question is. Now the question is, do I just replace the lost pistol? Yeah. Let's see. Let's take a look, shall we? Yeah, that kind of works. That kind of works. Yeah, I like it. I like it. Okay. All right. So we're gonna make a few more of these adjustments, just because I've got two more power swords, and I want to do. Well, we can avoid. Let's see what it looks. Let's see how gnarly these look like without the. Oh yeah, that does look gnarly. Yeah, that looks pretty slick. Okay, so we're gonna save. We're definitely gonna save one for a normal guardsman. Uh, just trying to think. Okay, one for an officer. This one for a guardsman. So one for an officer, one for a guardsman. And then two more. Oh, how many do I have? Hold on. One, two, or sorry, one, two, three. I got three. Okay, so I need to do where's that other one? That other one I painted up. Where'd it go? There's a plasma pistol. Well, there's 3 plasma pistols here. Screw it. If I have to modify, I'll do it later. But I'm gonna quickly go out and prime, and then these eyeballs should have or the mouths should have dried, so I can just touch up with the skin tones. And then yeah, we'll prime the arms and the power swords. Where's that other power sword that I did? You know what? That one's gonna be. We'll do that one different. We'll do that one different. He'll be his own separate thing. As soon as I find it. Just because I've already got like a model half built. And we'll square it away then. But yeah, I like that. That's slick. I like that one. I like it a lot. That actually works. I like how it turned out. So we're going to prime these. Prime this. We'll prime this. And we'll prime this. And then we'll prime these. Alright, so I will be right back. I'm just going to go out and prime them real quick, and then we'll start with some more painting. Oh, there it is. There's another bit. Okay. Pull you out. It's your priming box. Oh no, you're not our priming box. You're our priming box. Put that right there. Alright. Okay, now just back to the quick cleanup, and then we'll put these guys on their heads, or put these guys on their bodies, and it should be good to go. And then we work on the sergeants, I want to say, next. Because there's still some stuff like this Master Voxcaster. He's got a massive backpack that we can put together. It's like, it's literally outrageous how big it is. And then I think what he'll do, and then for the medic, well, I'm gonna need to do beret heads for the medic anyway. But the medic's already done. The medic's almost done. I just need to paint the red cross on his arm. But just need to touch a little bit of black on that. I overcorrected on the paint. That's okay. There we go. Alright, cool. Alright. Alright, cool. Cool. Alright, yeah. Just snip these real quick. There we go.
Oh, where did that head go? There it is. Oh man, we're almost done with our first like batch of 25. That'd be kind of cool. And then I think what I'll do is I'll work on the Sentinel, because really that's just going to be splashing um, paint on it in like a tiger stripe pattern. Um, that looks so cool. Bam! There we go. All right, 18 down. Seven more to go. All right, I'm gonna go check on the because it's super sunny out. I mean, it's during direct sunlight. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna check the primer, flip the stuff over, and then spray, and then I'll bring that inside and start working on it. All right, we're making progress. We are cooking, 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 cooking. All right, and then what I think, like I said, what I think I'm going to do is finish out those Astra Militarum box sets, and then do do the Sentinel and whatnot, and then I'll work on the next one and the next one and the next one until until it's done. Because I want to make sure that I get everything squared away. And then with all that, it's going to be and what's kind of cool about getting all this done, so they don't have heavy weapons, but I've got a bunch of heavy weapons, old heavy weapons models. So what I think I can do is just grab a bunch of heavy weapons bases and put them on, and then there they are. They're heavy weapons teams. And I think I'll use that for the older models, the ones that have like the older armor and whatnot, and do it that way. Yeah, I think that'll work. Because I got these old backpacks. Oh, not these one. Not on this one, but there are old backpacks and stuff on some of the old heavy weapons models. That would work. And I got two of them ready to go. It's a missile launcher team. Where'd the other one go? Yeah. I got 2 missile launcher teams. So what I could do is probably find some, yeah, because this one's a lost cannon, old lost cannon body. Could probably paint the arms better, or hands better, and then that's a lost cannon guy. And do it that way. Yeah, here's a torso. Here's another torso. It's another legs. So I got options. And there's another body. So yeah, I could definitely do some work with this. And what's this? Who are you? Who are you? Oh yeah, you're a body. Although I think I was going to do those as grenadiers. I mean it'll work. It'll work. I've got it in my mind. Yeah, yeah, because I can still do the actual heavy weapons teams as lost cannons. And I got 3 of the suckers, so you know. All right. What was I gonna do? What was I gonna do? All right. What was I gonna do? Yeah. Oh, let's see. We'll do one of the sergeants. Yeah, that's what we'll do. So we'll need to pull out some greens. Oh. Oh, excuse me. I don't know where that came out of. Okay. I feel like Zathra sometimes. Ah, not that one. Not that one. If any of you know that reference, kudos on you. You're probably just as old as I am. Okay. Okay, we're gonna do blue with you actually, seeing as we're doing the officer. Okay. Oh wait, nope, that's not it. I was about to do a bolt pistol. No, no, no. Plasma pistol. Still. Oh, excuse me. Let's go bring those. Let's go bring those other parts in. Those are good. Those are good. was I? Oh, yes. Just gonna paint the whole thing blue and make sure that it actually works, and then there we go. Alright, now the blue is done. I'm going to switch to a green. Do the same thing here. Son of a gun. Oh, I don't know why. Something's just messing me up. Hope I'm not coming down with something. I'm going to be very upset if I am sick. Like, that'd be not cool. Okay. There's that. Just going to put that right there. Where's that other one? There it is. Ah. Oh, woo. I don't know what's growing in Japan, but it's triggering my sinuses. Or I'm getting sick and I don't like it. Because I don't like getting sick. Especially because I just got back to flight. And I don't want to have to go to sick call to get the stuff. So that's the last thing I need to do. Hey, Russ, how are you going? Good Lord. What's happening? Well, let's see. I did a modification on a model, or I've done a few modifications on a model, and you'll see it when I paint it, but I can show you some of the results. So, I have all these old command sprue bits, right? Old bionic power, old bionic hand and arm putting on a power sword. But what I did is I cut one off and modified it, so that way it's just a bionic hand and wrist with the sleeve, with a like actual human sleeve, human arm sleeve, or you know the rest of the human arm. So I'm going to paint it like that, and here's a power sword with sergeant stripes, right? But then what's kind of cool, and what I'm going to do with probably one, maybe two of the sergeants, is take the two bits that I hacked up, right? The bionic hand and all that stuff, or the bionic sword and all that stuff, and then do it with like a chain sword. So the old hand was attached to chain sword and the arm, and then now it's just a bionic arm with a hand and a chain sword. So yeah, it's really really cool, and it kind of fits. Um, yeah, I thought so. I thought it's a nice little conversion, like super subtle. You might see a little bit of it, right? Because I had to butcher up the sleeve to do it, but like super super subtle, kind of works. Um, really like it, really like it, and the fact that it's got the sergeant stripes is another plus. Don't get me wrong. I do like over the top conversions, like conversions that are just like, wow, you spent a lot of time on it. But I also love the subtle ones where you don't necessarily know, like, we're just kind of little. Oh, shucks. And I've been listening to, but other than that, like, I just got back to flight. So I've been working with the new flight that I'm assigned. And then what's it called? I finally got all my, not everything replaced, right? But, um, uh, but you know, the, not everything was replaced. Uh, um, but a majority of the, let me get some water. But the majority of the files I did lose, I was able to get back. I say majority. The majority of the music files, I should say, I got back because iTunes luckily stores some of the downloads that you've got, the purchases. The rest of everything, like the pictures and all that stuff, that has not been recovered. So, sad panda on that. Alright. Okay. So that's green, green. Oh, yeah, that's right. The rest of the plasma pistol's green. And then I still have a bunch of Cadian heads that need to be, or a bunch of beret heads that need to be put on. But I mean, the models themselves look really good. Um, they turned out pretty damn well, in my opinion. Um, Especially with the berets, right? I just like the way that turned out. But yeah, I've been finally catching up on some Black Library audiobooks, and um I've been listening to Leviathan. Uh, Kind of interesting. Yeah, the scheme is good. Oh, thank you, thank you. I didn't know if it was going to turn out well. I was kind of worried about it. I was like, I don't know if this is going to look good. Um, Especially with new kit builds, because like, what's good on older models? What's the plan with washes or black lining? Um, See, I don't do washes. Uh, um, Cause like I don't want to fuck up the paint job I already did. I'm nervous about how to do washes. I mean, I've got some washes that I could use. Maybe null oil. I don't know. Yeah, I know. I'm a crap painter when it comes to washes. Um, I just don't know what I want to do. Because the thing is that like I could, dude, let me show you placement washes. Well, like, what do you mean washes? Like on the entire model? Let me come into the Vox. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm in recording. Okay, green. What's up? Can you hear me? Testing, testing. Mic check, 1, 2. Oh, I heard a feedback pop.
Okay, now can you hear me?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, how you doing?
Hey, let me turn up the volume on my computer because you're kind of quiet.
That's okay. No worries. Go for it.
All right, outstanding.
Placement wash. There's an overall wash which you can do,
Yeah.
right? So overall wash is what you're probably thinking of, which is, like you get an old oil or you get like a sepia wash or something like that, and you put it. Sorry, just 1 second.
No, no,
There's
no,
an
no, no, no,
interruption.
no. I hear a small little gremlin in the background. Gremlins always deserve attention first. Oh my God! Why do I have? Oh, why do I have a chesty cough? I really do not want to be sick. I don't want to get sick now. Doo da, doo da. I don't want to get sick now. Oh, doo da day. I don't want to be sick. 'Cause I've had it. Nurgle go for yourself. Oh, doo da day. Anyway,
Okay, Gremlin has left.
Gremlin has left. No, gremlins are always important.
So yeah, there's an overall wash you can do. Like grabbing what's the old one, snakebite leather or something, straight over the top of all of it, and it it smooths out the sort of colors across, like it kind of creates a gradient across all the colors.
Yeah.
But I don't recommend that. That's a very basic way of doing washes. What they recommend now is placement washes. So, what you've done is you've blocked in all of your colors and then maybe applied some layers. Um,
Sort of. So like, excuse me, my painting scheme is really basic. Like
okay.
it's
Yep.
it's not even like a level. I would say it's level 2 only because it's like battlefield ready. Like I painted it, it's on the field. It's not a bunch of gray. It's not gray hammer, right? Um, for those of you who don't know what gray hammer is, it's when you have an army that you've built but you have not painted. That's gray hammer.
Yeah.
Um, so I've got so there's no like I haven't done any sort of highlighting or shadowing or anything like that. In my mind, I prefer the colors as they are unadulterated because the shadows are going to be natural when you're in the store and they're hitting a certain way in the light, if that
Mm-hmm.
makes any sense.
Yep.
Um, Now, I understand why people like shadowing their miniatures. I'm not getting them on. I'm not getting on them for that. Go ahead. I just don't because one, I'm not really good at it. Two, uh, um, it already takes me a large amount of time to get. You could watch all the streams. It took me about several streams just to get these 18 done right now.
Mm-hmm.
So for me to and so some of it's practice, but I don't have time for that.
And I'm going to dispute that and say you do,
All right. Okay.
because I reckon with just a simple kind of technique, you'll be able to get quite a lot out of it, right? So, um, a placement wash is essentially just like applying a edge highlight. It's pretty much the same principle. The only
Mm.
difference is you go into the actual recess. That's all you do, and you don't have to do many of them. Um, you would just select key areas. You've got some really nice cloth, especially for the characters.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, um, if you just did a slightly darker recess, the folds of the cloth, you just go over it literally like once with like 50% water, 50% wash,
Mm-hmm.
and that's it. You don't have to touch it again after that. You can do layers of highlights after that if you want, as per your normal process. But you don't have to go much further than just putting in a recess just one line, and you don't have to go over it again. You just like literally just go streak, and you're done. One model will take you about 1 or 2 minutes to do.
Yeah.
And it's all the depth that you need on that model to allow the highlights to come through and the dark recesses to be just that tinge lighter.
Mm.
I used to do a whole model washing,
Yeah.
and I look back at that and go, what a waste of time, right? Because
Yeah.
after after you spend time blocking in colors and they're nice and vibrant, and then you go and apply a wash over the whole thing that just darkens it, and it's like, let me just reapply all the colors again.
Well, so for me, a lot of my army colors are very dark to begin with.
Mm. Yep.
Um, because it's traditional olive drab, right?
Yep.
Like that's a pretty dark color. Um, Particularly because I don't prime white like a lot of people do. Like the people that do slap chop method, I 100% an envy of them because they could do massive models in, a short amount of time. But for me, slap chop, for those of you that don't know what slap chop is, it's you prime the model white and you use contrast paints primarily. You can use regular paints, but you have to thin them out fairly, what's it called? Fairly well. Like a 3-to-1 water, a 3-to-1, one paint, 3 water mix, roughly, to get the same consistency as contrast. Um, and then you paint it all up, and then after the paint's dry, and the good thing about contrast is the heavier the coat, the darker it is, or the lighter the coat, the lighter it is. And then after you do that, you shade everything black. Or sorry, I screwed that up. You prime it white, you shade dark bits, and then you layer, and then you do your uh, regular colors. Then you do your contrast colors, and then you can highlight. I had it the other way around, so that's the correct
Okay.
way. Um, I because of the color scheme that I picked, which was the black flak armor, the olive drab paint. I don't think it would look good if I primed them all white.
No, it won't. It
So
won't work at all.
yeah,
It'll make them look comical.
yeah.
Which
Um,
yeah, I agree with you. Your base colors and stuff are cool. I'm getting a work call. I'll have to come back.
oh, that's fine. Take your time.
All right, ciao.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Yeah. There's that green. And then one Monday morning, and the day began. Good lord. Oh, good lord. I don't get it. I don't get why I've got this chesty cough. I really hope I'm not sick. Oh, lord. Phew! Golly! Good lord. Honestly, don't know what's going on with me. wash my hands. Get some more water in me. All right, and we are back. Hopefully I got whatever was bothering me out. I just get a chesty cough sometimes, which is very frustrating, especially when you have like hacking fits and you don't know what caused it. It's annoying as all hell. You know what? I think there might be something in Japan that blooms and grows and just doesn't agree with me. Although that doesn't explain why my stomach kind of hurts. But I don't know. We'll figure it out sooner or later. Sooner or later I'll know what's wrong with me. Of course, some of the people in my squadron are like, there's a lot wrong with you. Yeah, but you know. we should do... We'll do a brown for the glove. Because they both look like they have shooting gloves on. So we'll do brown for the gloves. Good lord, what the hell? It's got to be something. It has to be some sort of allergy, I swear. Yeah, so they've got like some sort of shooting glove on, it looks like on their hands. So we'll do a brown for that. Khaki brown, because that's the same kind of shooting glove style for the plasma guns. Words, no, we're good. Where is the... There it is. This one needs a little bit of... Okay, yeah, that one's open. This one needs a little bit of love. Now my fingers are locking up. God, look, I swear, I'm just falling apart. You're gonna see me on stream just disintegrate. Hey, what happened to Commissar Hecht? He just fell apart. He just disintegrated like a... He just disintegrated like a freaking Tomb King. Just dissolved right in front of us. It was kind of cool. Where is the grenades? There's the grenade. There's the plasma gunner. Of course, I can already hear my wife telling me, you need to go get that checked out. And of course, and that's one thing. It's like I did get it checked out. They couldn't find anything. They don't think it's burn pit related, unfortunately, which kind of is a little frightening for me. Or no one's told me that it's not burn pit related, but at the same time, they haven't told me that it is. Which, again, frightening. again.
Hello.
All right. So you were saying use. You said snakebite or
Look, you can use any darker color, but it's called recess washing, and I posted a couple of videos at exactly the right timestamp in your miniature works in progress.
okay. All right.
But probably recess washing is the right technique for what we're talking about. You can also lining too, but it's different. It's also more severe as a contrast thing. And if you get black lining wrong, you then have to go back over it again. Whereas the recess washing, it's a bit more flexible.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's super quick. Like you can just literally just get the wash, as long as it's not too much on your brush or like a sharp tipped brush, and you just go straight into selected corners.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, you know what? I'll give it a go. I'll probably not do it with this group right here because I really want to move on to the other models that I'm just kind of sitting up on. And I think that's another reason why I do such basic colors is because it takes me forever to finish a model.
Yeah, fair enough.
And it's not that I don't it's not that I don't love painting. I think it's very soothing. I think it's super therapeutic. There's definitely a calming sensation to it. But I do lament not being able to paint as quickly as some of my contemporaries. Like the guys that do, what is it, a full battle force in like, 24 hours or something like that? And I'm just like...
Ignore that. That's spending a lot of time and money on tools that are much more fit for purpose than what we use.
I know, but I still am just like, God, I wish I could do that. You know, mainly because I think if I was able to have that ability, my closet of shame would be more of a small pile. But yeah, I do like making sure that a lot of my armies are done and dusted when it comes to painting before I field them. Mainly because I want to, I've worked hard collecting them, like that, spending actual money collecting these miniatures, and so it's just like, why shouldn't I?
Yeah, exactly.
Excuse me.
Very fair.
But anyway, how are you getting on with all your projects?
Very slowly.
Yeah. What you working on right now?
It's still the demons.
Oh, okay. Demons. You said Cornite runs, right?
Corn at the moment, yes.
Yeah.
And I've got all of the others.
Oh no! I recognize that laugh. I recognize. Like, I've got turns to pile.
Funnily enough, the most progressed are the Nurgle ones because they're the easiest to paint. They're the most slap choppy, if you want to call it.
Oh yeah, no, like
because it's all washes.
Well, not even that. It's just like if you make a mistake, well, who's gonna know? Because it's a.
No, it's entirely intentional.
Yeah. Like that's kind of the one thing I do envy about like Tyranids, orcs.
Looking armies.
Well, I mean, you can make a Tyranid army look phenomenal. You can make an orc army look phenomenal. But even like demons, right? Tyranids, demons, orcs. Even if you make a mistake, or you're not like a A-rated painter, right? It's okay because the models allow you to do that. Like it really is quite. You screw up on a color palette on an orc, you just be like, oh, you know what? That's what the orcs believe in right then and there. The models kind of tend to like the models themselves tend to be very forgiving if the culture allows it. In I think, in my opinion, if that makes
Yeah, I
any
think so.
if that makes any sense.
It's like the difference between your parade ish level models and maybe like remember Catachans?
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Like pure jungle Catachans,
yeah, 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 yeah,
right? Like they're all got the pure camo with muddying is great.
yeah,
It's all part of the camo scheme.
yeah. It's like, oh, yeah, it looks like it just rolled in the mud real quick. That's part of their doctrine, right?
Yes.
Whereas like, you go for Praetorian or Mordian Iron Guard, or Praetorians are the Zulu,
Hmm.
Zulu era colonial British. The Mordian Iron Guards more Imperial Japan style clothing, so it's all like has to be neat and proper.
Bright
Um,
white, bright red.
yeah, yeah, but the Mordians are a deep royal blue with like highlighted orange trimming. Um, because it was the 80s and blue and orange totally went together.
Of course.
Um,
What part of the 80s did you live in?
oh, no, 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 no. I'm talking about like the color scheme of the old. If you look at
Yeah,
the old.
I'm kidding.
Oh, yeah,
It's a
sorry.
joke.
Well, I was born in '86, so I wasn't part of that fashion. I was still rolling around. Like I was 4 when the '80s ended. Oh, I was 4 when the '80s ended. So I don't claim the '80s. '90s. Yeah, we can talk about the '90s all day. But um, but yeah. Uh, but yeah, I think that some model kits tend to be more forgiving than others. Um, Hell, Chaos Space Marines, I think, are probably the like one of the few that you've got the aesthetic of the Marines, but you can do anything and it be like, well, that's their warband, easy.
Mhm.
Like, um, the harder you get is like when you talk about like, I think the harder you get is like when you talk about Sisters of Silence, Custodes, um, Grey Knights especially. Like when I see a well done Grey Knight army, I'm like, oh man, you spent time on that.
Yeah,
Um,
the Grey Knight army should be literally you look at them and you go, my eyes.
um, Sisters of Battle kind of has that same quality of work. Space Marines have that same quality of work. The only other army that I think is like fairly easy to paint quickly is Tau.
How?
Cause
Well, that depends too.
Because you've got to think of it. Aside the body armor and the body glove, and maybe the blue skin, I think,
Yeah, they're pretty uniform. Yes, I
yeah,
agree.
like like you can make them somewhat unique. Um, like paint their shoulder pads a different color or anything like that.
Hmm.
But I think when it comes to like, if I had to rate the armies that are like super user friendly, that if you make a mistake, you can just say, you know what, fuck it, that's part of the model. I'm gonna say orcs, nids, demons, Nurgle specifically, uh, and then I would also say Zeech or Zinich. Because Zeech, you can do because they got that whole mutation thing. So if you dork up on the building process of it, you're just like, that pink horde just has a spare arm. Screw it, it's mutating. You know. Um,
Their arms.
yeah, yeah, yeah. The paint scheme for Zeech is pretty fluorescent. So, but everything else is.
Yeah. Sorry, 1 minute.
No, it's all right. I am doing a. Let's get this.
I'm back.
Okay. I envy that you're able to work from home. That is a luxury I do not. Very few people get to enjoy. So I'm just gonna say it for you.
Well, as if yeah, I don't know. I agree with you. Um, as of next week, we have to go back in 50% of the month.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's a mandated KPI.
Well, you know what? That's kind of. You figure it was coming. Uh,
In the organisation, I've had other orgs that have been contrary to that. Like they've said, no, we've maintained a work from home flexible structure. Um, but it is what it is. It's different for each cultural group, I would say.
I still envy you. I'm just gonna say
Yeah,
that.
fair enough. Fair enough.
Not that I would ever trade my job for the world, but if there was ever an opportunity when I retire to like get a gig that works from home, the amount of stuff I can do while working from home and feeling accomplished. Oh man. Uh, but yeah, it's kind of cool. Um, uh, but yeah, the you, I forget you do consulting, right? Right?
Yeah,
Correct me. Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. Correct me. I didn't know
software
exactly.
development.
Oh, do you write code?
And no, I train the teams that do that.
Oh, okay. Well,
I switched them.
that's still cool. That's still cool.
It's all right. It's
I
all right.
I can't write code for shit. Like it really is a whole new language to learn.
Yeah. Number of languages I know. About three or four. Well enough to actually do stuff. Do stuff. Yeah. Yep.
So,
Three, four
uh,
languages.
did you have you got your hands on on the audiobook Leviathan?
No.
Oh God. Oh, you need to, cause it's a really good read. I'm only 10 chapters into Leviathan. Um, well, it's a good listen to. I would say it's a good read if you're actually reading. Let me correct myself. Um,
Okay.
but I'm only like 10 chapters in, and it really does to portray the Tyranids as this as a real threat, right? Um,
Mhm.
Now, normally, obviously, hey, when you have a book featuring Space Marines, the Space Marines are always, um, you know, not necessarily above flaw or flawless, but it's just like the Space Marines, they'll figure it out. No, no, this book, I'm like, oh man, you guys are kind of struggling a little bit. Like
Mm.
they're kicking your ass. Um, and I like it. I like it. Um,
Tyranids are very uncompromising.
yeah, no, and it certainly the author, whose name escapes me at the moment. I think it's Darius something.
Thanks.
Hold, Darius Hinks. Yes, there we go. Darius Hinks. The author has done a really good job, um, kind of describing what happens before the invasion of a Tyranid planet,
Mm-hmm.
um, and like how the population reacts to this massive
existential doom without knowing that it's actually the NIDS, right? Like the entirety of the planet, for the most part, doesn't seem to understand what's going on like the Marines do. The Marines know what's about to happen. Certain people in power who have potentially prescribed data, like who have prescribed knowledge of what a Tyranid is, do, or like they have like a half written manuscript and they're like, oh, these guys are no good. We gotta escape the planet, kind of a deal. Like they know what's kind of going on, but the rest of the imperial populace do not. And I think it's kind of cool that the author kind of captures that. Um,
Well, that was the whole critique on the Emperor's view on sharing knowledge around chaos.
oh no,
The
no,
the
like
imperial truth.
yeah,
Right?
the imperial truth. Yeah, no, no, no. There are a lot of things the emperor did wrong. Not sharing chaos to his sons. Um, was definitely one of them. Um, Now I understand his, at the time, his rationale of like, hey, if I don't tell anybody what chaos is or what demons are or anything like that, no one's gonna fall. Um, and
Well,
chaos.
that's the if you don't tell them about the temptation, then what you don't know about
Yeah,
is
yeah,
not a temptation, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. So, the whole ignorance is bliss idea.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
so, but yeah, it there's definitely a parallel when it comes to like the Marines aren't telling the local populace what's about to fucking happen to their planet. Or, because uh, at first they think that they're dealing with an insurrection, but then when evidence comes forth that no, this isn't an insurrection. This is just how people react to when a Tyranid hive fleet comes into the system. Um,
Yeah,
uh,
they're going a bit cray cray.
they're going a bit cray cray. Now they haven't mentioned anything about the Gene Stealer cults, so I'm assuming that's going to play a part in shortly. Uh, Although, like I said, I'm only in Huh?
I don't think they're a necessary part of a high fleet invasion
So
because it all depends on the circumstances. So if it's in the path of a high fleet, you don't need like there doesn't need to be one. It's just the high fleet's moving in that direction. But if it's something that's like come up out of nowhere and they didn't expect it, that's a different story.
yeah, yeah. So nine times, I would say in most cases when it comes to like Gene Stealers, right? And Gene Stealer cults. Yeah, not every planet is going to have a Gene Stealer cult that's in the path of a Tyranid fleet. But because of how Gene Stealer cults operate, I would not be surprised. I would be a little bit more surprised if this planet if they didn't mention a Gene Stealer cult popping up.
Okay.
Just because like some of the stuff that the authors touched on, kind of feels Gene Stealer cult-ish. Right, like the main protagonist of Leviathan is obviously the main antagonist of Leviathan is obviously the Nids. So I would assume that the author focuses on just the Nid fleet, but some of the stuff that he's mentioned within the passages, I'm like, that could be a Gene Stealer cult kind of a deal. Like, I'm making an assumption, if that makes any
Yeah,
sense.
fair enough. Yep.
Um, but yeah, it is a really good read, and I kind of like the fact that the Marines and some of the Imperial forces are kind of wrong-footed in their way that they're dealing with it, because it shows that the Tyranids have evolved since their introduction. And
Super sneaky.
huh?
Super sneaky.
Yeah, yeah. and it kind of reinforces the fact that it's like, oh well, the Tyranids have soaked up all this new biomass that they didn't soak up beforehand, right? Because they've eaten Marines before, they've eaten Eldar, they've eaten all kinds of alien life that they weren't normally exposed to when they first came into system. So now that they've done that, they're that much more scary. Like they're that much more formidable. Because like they understand what they're fighting now. They're not acting like feral animals anymore.
If you remember back to the early parts of the lore, there was a Inquisitor Equipment.
Yes, yes.
Remember that? Yeah. So one of the things he warned about was the crossover of multiple hive fleets,
Yeah.
because he said, I think in the lore it says, one of the worst things that can happen is two hive fleets cross and they share all the genetic information and learning,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because it's literally like this massive evolutionary jump every time that happens.
Yeah.
And so he didn't he redirect one hive fleet at what's that orc the orc world. Um,
Well, oh yeah, yeah. So they did. I
Remember,
think.
so that the orcs could just fight each other, like they could fight each other just like for a long time.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So actually, that's part of the. I don't know if they're going to address that in this particular book, because it's the particular planet that they're on is close to the. And I don't want to spoil. I don't want to do any spoilers, but the planet that they're on is close to the Sanctus line. And for those of you that don't necessarily know what that is, or in relation to the story, the Sanctus line is like, think of it as a interstellar, inter or intragalactic intersegmentum Maginot line around Terra. Like it's literally the last line of defense around Segmentum Solar. Where it's like, if shit had gone sideways when the Great Rift opened up, that's the speed bump, the final speed bump before heretic fleets would go into like the Sol Segmentum proper, and threaten like critical worlds, not just. I mean, every world in the Imperium's critical at some point in junction, but we're talking about Segmentum Solar in and of itself. So that's kind of where the story is setting, is that this planet is one of the linchpins as part of that Sanctus, the quote unquote Sanctus line. Like super heavily fortified, like. Now this particular planet is not as fortified as the rest of the planets in the Sanctus line, because I guess this planet's in the story they describe it as a hub. Like it's used to supply the rest of the Sanctus line with what it needs. So it's not as like well armed or well armored or whatever the case is, or the system in and of itself. Like the planet's not, but the system is, kind of a deal. But yeah, I'm enjoying the book, and like I said, I like the fact that the NIDs aren't used as a punching bag, to basically show like Space Marine greatness. As a matter of fact, it's showing that like the Marines are basically trying to figure out how to fight these NIDs. And I'm not going to explain why. Like, we as the people know why. It's because the NIDs have evolved, but I'm not going to explain why. Like, when they find that eureka moment out, kind of a deal. But yeah, oh god, it's such a good read, or such a good listen to. The narrator is pretty good too. I do like a good audiobook that has a decent narrator. Again, Toby Longworth could read the phone book, and I'd buy it. Uh, so, but yeah. Yeah, but Inquisitor equipment, that's honestly that's a callback to like some ancient lore, my guy. That's a good
Yeah.
callback right there. Not many people know about Cryptman.
He's the OG.
It's funny because I think at one point he was branded a heretic, um, because like
I
he,
think all Inquisitors are granted are called heretics at some point because of the different types.
oh yeah, no, I don't know if he was considered a Puritan or a radical. Like I can't remember what his sect was. Um,
Wasn't he one of the data? They've changed the law a little bit. They didn't. If you remember, they didn't have in the Assassinorium data ones before, but they
uh,
do now. Do you remember?
yeah, I do remember them talking about like an Ordo. Oh God, what's it called? It's not Ordo Reductus. Order Reductus are the guys that try and delete everything. Um, Fuck. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah,
No,
they're
I'm.
data specialists. They collect data on everything,
Yeah,
and they specialize in espionage and deleting, like getting things done by communications and other means.
yeah. No, I know exactly what you're talking about. Cause the reason why I know what you're talking about is because there's the Ordo Reductus, and they're responsible for deleting anything that's considered heresy.
Yeah,
So you got two Ordos. One is recording data for posterity. The other one is like fervently trying to delete it because it goes against the Imperial Creed. Um, Talk about the left hand not knowing what the right hand's doing.
oh no, the left or the right hand knows what the other hand is doing. It's just deleting. It's got an eraser in its hand. It's just deleting it.
Um, but yeah, no, I do remember. I do remember. I do remember. No, because there's like certain sects of. So yeah, I remember he belonging to that order, but I don't remember what kind of teaching he followed. Because there's there's Amalathian, uh there's Horician, there's Thorian, there's
I think the Thorian are the radicals, aren't they?
no, the Horician are the radicals. Like
Oh, okay.
you are a fucking radical if you're a Horician. Because basically what the Horicians were is they were like the Horicians want to bring apart another Horus heresy, but basically what they want to do is they say, okay, well, Horus had an idea of like in his heresy he removed all the corruption because the corruption followed him. What we have to do is take the heresy to its somewhat logical conclusion and get rid of all the corruption in the Imperium by propagating potential heretics in order for the emperor to basically come off his throne. They they basically want to come. They basically want to generate the end times. Um, whether it's through heretic, whether it's through demonology, whether it's through insert bad idea here. Um,
So reset.
yeah, and there's more to their sect, but that's kind of the gist. Is that they're like, yeah, Horus was an asshole, but he had an idea. But if we gather a locus of heresy to draw out the rest of the poison within the Imperium, we can then stop it, and in stopping it, we hopefully the Emperor will get off his golden throne and become revived. It's weird like that. Um, yeah, Horicians are they're a breed unto themselves. Um, uh, for those of you that listen to the Eisenhorn series or read the Eisenhorn series, I think Inquisitor Quixos, like the main big bad for Eisenhorn for the first three books, he was a Heresian, I want to say. Because he also wanted to experiment with the Demunculaba, which is another, like, it's ick. But yeah, I forget what faction he was. I know he wasn't Heresian. I just can't remember what faction he was. Whether he was radical or Puritan, I can't remember. Um, but yeah, it's a solid lore. The Inquisition in and of itself is just like it is quite truly the example of why the Emperor hated religion. And yet he also understood, and then of course because of the Horus Heresy, he told Malcadero to find the Inquisitor, to find the Inquisition. That's tough. I'm sorry I'm not like in camera when it comes to some of the painting. Just don't want to dork. I just don't want to dork this up. I gotta find a better camera system. I mean, I like the way that I've set it up right here, but at the same time, it's just like, I wish I had an over the top camera. But that would require me getting like a not a harness, but a boom, an arm, some sort of boom arm maybe. And I haven't found one that, one is cheap, two I think would fit the amount of space that I have in the house. And then there's always the issue of this camera doesn't want to focus on what I'm painting on. It's such a pain in the ass.
Spend a few more dollars and you should be fine.
Yeah. But I don't know if I asked you this. What lore just appeals to you the most? Obviously, you're painting demons, so I'm assuming you like the chaos gods. Um,
Necessarily, I mean, this is the rotation of the last army I've been preparing for 40k.
oh, okay.
Um, it's got so much stuff. I try to rotate through it so that I can use it at some point in my life.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Well, I guess what army speaks to you through the lore?
Space Wolves always was
Oh,
my
yeah.
first. Yeah, Space Wolves, the Viking, the inward noble Viking
Yeah.
that on the exterior is a complete barbarian.
Yeah. Yeah, that's always a nice dynamic to have. Um, so, all right, your thoughts on what the next loyal Primarch they're going to bring back? Like, obviously, I'm assuming you would like it to be Russ,
Lion.
but
Well, I've seen the Lion. It's the
yeah,
latest, right?
yeah,
And then re-released.
yeah, yeah.
Um, I think it's too soon for um. His name is just on the top of my tongue, and Imperial Fists.
Dorn?
Um,
Rogel Dorn?
Dawn. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's too soon for that. I think we need something that threatens terror for that.
Yeah.
Um, I think logically the next one would be either Khan, although the the strong evidence goes to him being captured by Vecht.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, Most likely would have to be salamanders.
Oh, you think the salamanders are the next one?
Yeah, because he's just disappeared, and he disappeared for uh well, he was burnt out basically.
Yeah, yeah.
Because he's a
Perpetual, I think.
perpetual, correct? Yeah. So, but he was badly tortured by is it Lorgar?
I think well, the last time we saw him, or correct me if I'm wrong, it was fighting the War of the Beast, where he killed that quote unquote prime orc.
Yes.
Um, I don't know if he
Y-
did a showdown with Logar.
yes, but he's always been the softest to humanity,
Yeah, yeah.
even more than Gilliman and some of the others, right?
Right,
So
right, right.
because he's got the closest link to, like, even though he's immortal, he's been through death.
Yeah, yeah.
So then he gets the fear of it, but
Mm-hmm.
he's also got the reverse angle as well.
Yeah.
Um, I think salamanders have also like been unloved for a number of years now
you're not
as a chapter.
you're not wrong. I haven't seen really a good source book from them for quite a while.
Mm.
Um,
I'd love to see him come back and forge stuff. Maybe like do something with Call.
oh, like he comes back and helps out Call with like because Gilliman obviously it kind of made sense that Gilliman got woken up and then Gilliman did the whole what is it the Primaris founding, right?
Yeah.
Because realistically, had everything gone to plan, the Emperor would have put Gilliman in charge of the logistics of the Imperium anyway, and
Mhm.
the development of a new Space Marine breed would have probably been on the menu um, at some point. Uh, so like that makes sense. I would think for Vulcan, like if he was to do like a Belisarius call, maybe potentially uh he comes back and uh oh god, like I could see him like reunifying the Forge Worlds in some way. Because I mean the Salamanders are master craftsmen. Um, but yeah, I think that'd be kind of cool. I think that'd be kind of cool.
I think that's the most logical. If you ask me what I want to come back, I mean, look, Lemon Russ would be awesome.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Although I suspect because of time in the warp, and if you look at what's happened with the Wolfen,
Yeah.
um, it's likely he'll come back and he'll be like a human wolf,
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
because that's probably the reason he has stayed away in the first place.
Well, I mean, it's
Um,
the same with Conrad. I mean, yeah, Conrad. Yeah, no, not Kurz. Corvus
I,
Corax.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Uh, Corvus
The
Corax
shadow.
is turned into. I don't want to say a demon because
He's a
that's
shadow. He's like
he,
a wraith.
yeah, that's not what he is. I don't because like
the Emperor doesn't believe in demons. Like, I mean, he knows about them, but like to call like a saint or the Legion of the Damned Imperial demons is a bit of a misnomer in my opinion, because um if anyone has read the Eisenhorn book The Magos, they talk about uh they talk about new demons. Um and they talk about new demonic forms and all that stuff. And it's not a good thing, right? Like it's a threat to the Imperium in and of itself. Um, so
Depends though. So we're talking a hybrid, which would be more demon prince-ish.
yeah,
Uh, it's different because that what we're defining then is angels. Because the difference between the two, if you go by semi-religious
yeah, 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 yeah.
connotation, is very little. It's just literal ethical choice. That's all it is,
Oh,
right?
oh, yeah,
So, and then physical manifestation is because of the spiritual nature of them. Um, in the 40k law, is you see what is represented by their psyche, if that makes sense.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's the physical signature for the type of spirit that they are, right? So if they're good, they look great. If they're not good, they don't look great.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so I think that with hang on, who are we talking about?
We're talking about Corvus Corax, and
Corax.
we're also talking about Lehman Russ as well. Like if
Yeah,
he
so
if
Lehman
he
Russ.
if he mutated.
Yeah, so if you take away like human ideas of what physically looks bad,
Right.
right? So like the only reason a wolf visage looks bad is because it's different to human, right?
Yeah.
That's the only reason. It's the same like if it was a frog,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
right, or a bunny rabbit, it's still a bit like they still call it, right?
Yeah,
They
yeah,
still
right.
call it a demon at the end of the day because it's different. That's all it is. And Corax is the same. So he's basically a wraith. Um, so, well, actually, well, jeez, well, I'm terrible with names today. The Salamander's Primarch.
Vulcan.
What's his name?
Vulcan.
Vulcan, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So Vulcan had like, and actually the Salamanders themselves are treated with suspicion because they've got really dark skin and red eyes.
Yeah, but I think GW kind of retconned that a little bit.
Did they?
Um, to say that no, the reason why they have that is because of the unnatural radiation of the sun that their homeworld, the Vulcan, the Salamander's chapter's homeworld is happens to be on. Um, I do remember it being. I do remember it being the mutation part. I just don't know if that's considered canon anymore. Um,
Okay.
uh,
Well, maybe that's why they haven't seen so much love because they've been uh, what you call it like PCing
yeah,
um
yeah,
like so much of their stock. Like
yeah.
they probably have gone away from Space Wolves because of the PETA. Is it PETA? PETA?
Oh, well, I mean, PETA is oh God, those guys are awful. Like, if you really,
It's still brand reputation stuff, right?
oh,
So
sure, sure, sure. But if
right,
you
so
really, if you really look at what they do, they're horrible. It's a horrible organization. Uh,
people don't look more than the surface, and this is the problem, right? So um on the surface, they just see animal rights group, you know,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
wolf pelts. They've got a point, right? Um, you dig any deeper than the surface in a lot of organizations about that complain or push an angle, and you can dismiss pretty much everything that they say because, like, most companies, it's advertising for a brand or a product. Most like community organization, it's pushing it because they've got some fear of something, or they've got some acute angle on not wanting to use animal products or something like that, or animal testing is their thing, but then they're like pushing it too far, all of those sorts of things, right?
Well,
Um,
the reason why I talk about like PETA being not good is because like their whole they take something that's noble, right? The ethical treatment of animals, and then they're wholly responsible for like a majority of euthanasian. Like there's like, oh, if an animal has ever been domesticated or too familiarized with humans, it's not going to survive in the wild, so we'll just kill it off. Like like that's
purity.
yeah, yeah,
We want wild purity. That's why.
yeah,
Yeah, and that's like essentially fanaticism, right? So, um, very common in a lot of different fields, whether you call it religion, politics,
yeah,
whatever.
yeah, yeah.
It's just the same. So, I'd really like to see, as I was saying, them and us, but I don't think it will happen until the end times kind of ish stuff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think Rogue Dawn will be the same because it's related to Terra. It's related to the last bulwark, like the
Yeah.
last man standing type thing. Um, I think Vulcan's a good chance, but it all depends on what we just discussed around their look, whether they're going to retcon that stuff and
Yeah.
make it a bit more PC. If they do, then it's okay. Korax.
I would like to see Corvus
I love
Korak.
the lead. I love that chapter. I think they're
Yeah.
amazing as a chapter, and some of their models, those the eagle-y looking
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
dub pack models. Oh, they're just
Yeah.
supreme. The only thing is that they predicated on black and white scheme, which is not that exciting.
No,
Actually.
it's as far as a color scheme goes, that's pretty bland. Not saying that if you guys paint black and white, if you guys choose to paint black and white, that you can't pull it off. I'm just saying like there's very little dynamics to it. I don't know.
Yeah. Compare that to the other black and white chapter, which is Black Templars.
Yeah.
Right, they are like the epitome of what's the term? The concept of spot color.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because you got this black and white scheme, and you think, oh, boring. But then they wear tabards, and the tabards are like bright red, like regal kind
Yeah.
of colors.
Yeah.
And they've got golds, trims and stuff, and they've got the chains, that, and sort of sacrificial motif or martyrdom sort of motif happening, stuff like that. That's pretty cool. Like,
Yeah.
as a color scheme and the ability to paint some variety. What else is left?
Oh, let's see.
Blood Angels. I'd love to see.
I don't know.
Come back.
I don't know if they're. So the two Primarchs I do not want them to touch
Yeah.
is
The
Horus
two dead ones.
and Sanguinius.
Oh, okay. You didn't. It's interesting. You didn't say Mr. Metal Arms. What's his name?
Oh, sorry. I guess the four Primarchs. I should say the four Primarchs.
Dead ones?
The four dead ones is because like. Yes, you could bring back Sanguinius with some like techno babble, like super secret sorcery, like oh well, because of the Great Rift, there was this psychic eminence, and it managed to pull Sanguinius's soul out of the spiteful vengeance, right out of Horus's or old Abaddon's worship, and bam, he's back. I don't want that.
I don't want that. Like there's a reason why the Horus Heresy went the way it did, and there's a reason why there are certain Primarchs that are dead. Similarly, I don't want the 12th and the 18th Legion to be touched. Like, I don't want those two Primarchs to be explained. I just don't. There's a reason why, or I don't want the reason to be explained. Like, there's certain things in Warhammer that should never ever require an explanation. Like,
I saw an explanation of those lost legions.
oh no, oh no,
Yeah, and it's from Malcador's lips too.
ah,
It's
well,
in a book.
is it? Oh no,
Yes.
oh no, 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 no.
You want to know?
Ah, okay. Well, if it's in a book, if it's been published, like, I'm assuming it's because they offended. I,
I'm only gonna paraphrase.
yeah.
Right. So it's still left open, right? It's
Right,
still
right.
open-ended. It's not definitive, right? But the synopsis, the summary, is that they went against the policies of the time, essentially, right?
Right,
Now, if you think of the major policies that were unbreakable in the early stage of the Great Crusade,
right.
okay, because that's when they disappeared.
Yeah.
Imperial truth. So it has to be either chaos.
Yep,
So they were probably mutated by chaos.
yep.
But if being Primarchs, just because they're physically mutated doesn't mean that they were mentally
Yeah.
like psychically
Yeah.
changed. And so they went, well, physically it was too much. Like Sanguinius is enough with the giant white wings.
Oh, yeah. Just like,
That's considered angelic, right? So that we'll okay that one. But you with now take your pick. Is it horns? Is it
yeah.
demonic visage? Is it a tail? I don't know.
Yeah.
Right? They just went no. It's not happening. So it's either that, or it's some sort of deep opposition to something that the Great Crusade was trying to do. So, as an example, what happens if one of them got dropped in with the Eldar?
Ooh.
Think of it.
Yeah.
Eldar sees a baby and goes, "All right, it's a monkey. It's a monkey, right? We
Yeah.
should do a usual thing. Pulls out the knife.
Yeah.
And it starts speaking to him, or maybe psychically goes, "Hello there. How are you?" Right?
Yeah.
And then the Eldar goes, "What just happened? What is going on? Why are you talking to me? And I don't understand." And then the baby goes, "Hello, yes, I've got psychics, and I understand you.
Yeah.
I'm in your mind right now. I understand you." And then they went, further investigation, bring them back home. And then, the Eldar raise them. And they find out that they're kind of attuned to the Eldar. Well, you can't have a Primarch that's grown up amongst aliens. We need to destroy them.
Yeah.
Yeah? So that might be another possible angle.
Well, yeah. Like, but what I don't want is I don't want them to be like, here's Primarch Alpha, and he's been chilling.
Not one of those.
Well, yeah, but you know what I mean. Like he's just been chilling, and he's not like
No, I don't think they're gonna do. I don't think they're gonna do that. The only thing would be a revelation about. So the other one could be, because nobody ever thought of this. I reckon I've not seen this on the net anywhere. Ready? I'm gonna drop a bomb. Ready?
Yeah.
The dragon.
Oh, if they were Necron,
Well, they could have grown up with so that could be a dropped on a Necron world. Necrons somehow were awake or found the baby, and then saw the power in this baby, and then turned them into like a pariah Necron, right? Maybe Necronified them. I don't know what's the term.
Oh, biotransference. But
biotransference
yeah,
of a Primarch, and that's what's become that it's not actually a god. It's got the god, right? Or they
right.
might have even transferred the, what do they call them? Shards.
Yeah,
The
yeah, yeah,
shards of the
yeah, yeah,
of the
yeah.
original dragon into the Primarch to trap him.
I'm.
Imagine a hybrid Primarch, God, Dragon, Necron, and
I'm.
that's what's living under Mars. That would perfectly embody, wouldn't you think? Perfectly embody the Omnicia.
So the problem is that did the Emperor? So it would have to line up. I like the theory. It's certainly out of there, and it certainly would be like, yo, that's wild. But I it would have to line up with the theory of, did the Emperor?
Omnicia's the Emperor.
Yeah, Omnissiah is the Emperor.
Yeah.
Did the Emperor find, like, did the Emperor lose these Primarchs before he went on his holy crusade to Mars, right? Or at least for the Necron tier 1. And then when did the Necrons, were there Necrons that were still operational and still running around at the time?
Well, I think the answer to your last question is definitely yes. So they've been operating. There have been some tombs that have been operating the whole time, because of the broken protocols and stuff through attrition and.
Oh,
So
okay.
forth,
Yeah,
after the what do they call it? The battle in heaven, whatever.
yeah. The War in Heaven.
War in heaven. So that's definite. There were some around. The I think the connection of the Omnicia to the Emperor is an interesting one. It could very well be just a deal with the dragon and saying, look, I know that you've how do I put it? You're a star god. We're going to feed you in Mars,
Yeah.
right? So, because I think most of the star gods will take souls as a
They'll
form of
they
juice, right?
yeah. They'll take so normally they eat. The reason why they're called Star Guards is because they eat suns. Um. And that's like their primary form of like sustenance. The reason why the Necron tier fed on the reason why the Satan fed on the Necron tier is that because biotransference um, happens to produce that, like, happens to like disintegrate flesh and soul, it was like super juice to them. Like, it was better than any, like, to them it was dessert. They like you eat a sun because you need to live. You eat biotransference because you want to treat yourself. And it guaranteed you further lifespan. So, I mean, it would be kind of funny, and this is where my tinfoil hat comes on. It would be kind of funny if the Golden Throne was because it's not human tech, it's not human sciences, it's alien sciences. So I think, similar to your deal, where the dragon of Mars is the Void Dragon, right? Um, the Emperor cut a deal saying, "Hey, look, I'm gonna feed you, and you can be sit here and fed, and you can power all my weapons of war to a certain extent, and like that's our part of our compact. But I'm gonna set up this awesome fucking big old battery that requires 100,000 souls a day, and you're gonna get hooked up to it in some way, shape, or form. The only difference is that I need your tech." And I think that's kind of what the Golden Throne is that it's
Yeah,
because
I'm not sure.
because biotransference, the way that they describe biotransference, particularly in Dominus,
if you've read Indominus, they talk about you getting walked into this machine, and it's just this great big pillar of plasmonic energy, and it strips your body and your soul, but it keeps your intellect and throws it into a metal body. So it's not a big jump to think the Golden Throne, the Imperial version of biotransference, except instead of like the soul getting stripped and fed to the dragon, it's providing the Emperor life support, and then you also have the Astronomicon, right? Which is described in many ways as a giant fucking pillar of light, similar to what happened during biotransference. So that's how I'm thinking potentially could have been the deal was cut. Now I could be wrong. Everyone could turn around and say, Commissar, you're high off your own ass. There's no way that's the case. But I'm thinking that's
true until proven otherwise.
Well, I don't play that game of like, well, just because there's no proof doesn't mean that it's true. But like, if we go down the route of like the Emperor struck an accord with the Star Dragon, or sorry, the Void Dragon, there had to be a price tag, and I think part of the worship of the Mechanicus. And then, because of how biotransference was described in Indomitus, it sounds a lot like the Astronomicon, just with more steps. Like, that's what I think. That's my particular fan theory. Now, the whole idea of like a Primarch potentially falling to, or potentially being discovered by Eldar, and then taught like the Eldari way, that's kind of cool. And Primarchs have, I mean, the Emperor talked to Eldrad Uthran about the right before the Horus Heresy. I mean, I think it was Eldrad that was like, "Yo,
went to see him, yeah."
Yeah, I think it was Eldrad that went to see him and was like, "Yo, your so-called favored son is fucking shit up for you. You might want to figure that out real quick." And of course, being the Emperor, he's like, "I don't know what you're talking about." But yeah, I really do think that.
I think he knew it. He just went, "That's okay. I'll figure it out. I'll be powerful enough to deal with it."
Yeah, I'll sort it out later.
Thanks for your concern.
Put it on the to-do list. Like.
Appreciate your concern. However,
he just was like, "Oh God, it's Eldrad. Just hit the voicemail. Leave
a message.
leave a message after the beep. Beep."
Yeah.
It's the one thing I kind of. That's one thing I kind of wish. Actually, another thing I really do. So we've got Gazkul back from the dead. I kind of want to see, and we've got your Yvrain running around with Ynid, or Yvrain running around with Ynid, the Eldar god. I kind of want to see. I kind of want to see another Eldar deity start walking around. That'd be kind of cool. And not like, not like a shard. Like, cause like that's the thing that people keep on forgetting. Like, the whole aspect of Cain. That's a tiny bit of Cain.
I talked about Isha.
Yeah, I kind of want to see something like Isha come back. Like, obviously she's a prisoner to Nurgle.
Mm-hmm.
But we all kind of knew what happened at the end of Godblight when Big E decided to work through the Emperor, or sorry, decided to work through Gilliman and like bitch slap Nurgle a little bit.
Mm.
Um, Spoiler alert. Sorry guys. I didn't mean to ruin that book, but it was such good. It's such a good series. If you guys need a jumping off point about how bad um, the 40k universe is after the Great Rift opens up, Dark Imperium, Plague War, and then Godblight. And then Indomitus, because that talks about the Necrons and what they're doing. And then,
Opportunistic little buggers.
yeah, well, I mean, I don't think, yeah, they're opportunistic, but I mean, realistically, the Silent King was kind of on the right idea of like, hey, go to sleep for 65 million years, and then when we all wake up, we'll sort this out. Like, uh, and I really do think it was because of the Tyranids, like, because he went off into the galactic rim. Like, we don't know where he was, and it only makes sense that he came back because of the bugs. Like, because the bugs came from the galactic rim. So I think he was just like, oh, that's a problem. I need to get back, because his whole thing, if you've read Indominus, is they're setting up null zones, which just totally cancel out the warp. Like, it becomes everything. Like, they're literally setting up pylons of Cadia, except they work. Like, they're setting up black pylons everywhere where they capture territory, because they don't need warp travel. They've got the what's it called, the plasmatic drives. Like, they can actually do FTL without jumping into hell.
Well, they don't respond to gravity like flesh does.
Well, yeah, yeah. So like, um, so I think like when it comes to like the showdown, I think the Tyranids and the Necrons are definitely going to duke it out, because the Tyranids are psychic. Like, they don't go through the warp the same way that everybody else does. They bend space and time together and do a little time bubble. That's why it takes them so long. Like, they actually, there's this super hard
They
science.
did enter the warp though, in a sense, and they do short hops.
No, because I think it was explained at some way, shape, or form that they do this like super science, like this hard science idea that's like, you don't go past space and time, but you wrap space and time around yourself, manipulating like gravity in order to
So
come out.
essentially slingshotting, right?
Yeah. Like the Nids don't go through the warp in like they're like the Tau do like little warp jumps. Like that, it has been described that the reason why Tau don't go through the warp is they don't have navigators, but they don't necessarily go through the warp proper like the Imperium does and everyone else, like the Orcs do and all that stuff. They just go almost subs. They go almost FTL, but then they dip in and then jump out. It's like rock skipping to them. Um, but who knows? I might be fucking wrong, because I haven't done a whole lot of research on the
Well, that
Tau.
sounds. I think that sounds right, and they can't go very far,
Yeah,
but they do save themselves like their FTL capabilities are essentially short jumps through the warp,
yeah,
but only in safe situations. They're very risk averse, right?
yeah,
They're not
yeah.
going to risk losing whole fleets just to to go
Just
to another system.
just to get somewhere quick. Um, but
And hence
yeah,
why their expansions only like take a long time.
yeah, and it's the same thing with the Nids, except the Nids are not. They're wrapping space and time and gravity around them to move forward. Which is why when they come out of their FTL version, like the Imperium has plenty of time to scramble help. Uh, Well, plenty of time is like in the span of like a few months, you know. Uh,
They still have all of the precursor stuff though, right? The um, shadow in the warp,
yeah, yeah,
all that sort of stuff, right? And that's
yeah,
what
yeah,
you're
yeah.
talking about the early part.
Yeah.
Like
Oh yeah, I know.
using
The early part is like once a planet starts like being like you're breaking up and then you start hearing like buzzing sound in your headphones. Yeah, that's a problem. you're you're
random
like
screeching.
yeah, random screeching. If you're just hearing a bunch of hissing cockroaches in your ear, yeah, that's a problem.
I do wonder how how the Nids haven't learned to communicate in languages yet, though, having consumed all of this biomatter.
I don't think they care. Like
Fair enough.
and I mean that. I mean that honestly. It would be like a lion trying to communicate to its lunch. I don't think it cares. Like it's certainly smart enough to. Like it has the capacity because the hive mind is such a giant neural network. But as smart as the hive mind is, I don't think it cares. Or if it had the capacity, I don't think it. I don't. It's like that whole like resource versus reward kind of a deal, where it's like
We could help them get lunch faster, then it would be okay.
yeah, yeah. It's like, well, I could develop like speech and talk to these idiots, but why not? You know.
It doesn't have to. It has to. Like they've got all of the hybrids to do that, right?
Yeah, yeah. Really, that's what the Gene Stealer cult is its attempt to subvert. But even the Gene Stealer cult, like, it's like Fight Club. You don't talk about the Tyranids. You don't talk about the four-armed emperor until you know that it's time to the Ascension Day, as it were, to rise up and take over. And by that time, you know, you're liquid lunch anyway. You know, because they even eat the Gene Stealer cult.
Did did they did they know what they're part of?
So there's a few books that touch on it, but I think in the grand scheme they don't.
They don't see it as any like
Yeah,
it's part of their normal stuff, even though their mind is subverted and
yeah, yeah. Like it's like that old sci-fi horror film, Planet of the Body Snatchers, um, where they act normal, but realistically they're these horrific pod people that are trying to propagate their race. You just take that one step further because, like, what was it? I think Caiaphas Cain, one of the Caiaphas Cain books, talks about it, where they don't know that they've been implanted with the gene sealer, like gene, and when they approach the gene stealer patriarch, they don't see an alien. They see this visage of the emperor. So it subverts their mind, their conscious. Now, do they figure it out in the end that they're fucked? I don't know. That's a good
but they're
question.
altered at a genetic level, right? So
Yeah,
maybe not.
well, yeah. Maybe not. Um, and 9 times out of 10, it's the fourth and fifth gens that are walking around. Because like the hybrids and the aberrations, they're like the first and second and third. So like they're the guys that are staying in the underhives and in the slums. I think it's the fourth gens and the fifth gens that are like close to baseline human, very hard to detect unless you're doing blood tests on people. Like you're not gonna find out that they're gene stealer cultists until it's too late. and they're the ones that are like, hey, if you're 4th or 5th gen, you're the ones that are trying to go for like high office or key critical positions within like the planetary defense system, and you're just waiting for the psychic order from the four-armed emperor, and then once that happens, then you're going to sabotage everything, kind of a deal. But yeah, I don't think they know what they're a part of until, and even if they do, it's too late at that point. Like you're kind of screwed. So, but yeah, to me, I would like to see another, like, if to progress the storyline in another way. I would like to see another Eldar god kind of show up on scene. I mean, they're already talking about, or there's whispers of the Tau creating. Potentially, their psychic imprint in the warp is just big enough to create an aspect of the greater good. I don't know if that's going to happen anytime soon. But yeah, I would like to see another Eldar god start walking around. Because they really haven't done anything with Yvrain and Enid. Aside, hey, we brought back Gilliman. That's about it.
Well, and then the small uniting of the Dark Eldar and the Eldar.
Yeah, but not all the Dark Eldar are part of the what are they called? They're not part of the they're not. God, what are they called? What's their faction called?
Cult, aren't they?
Huh?
Cult of the. Aren't they another cult?
There are some Dark Eldar that have sided with Yenid and Yvrain. I forget what they're called. The Yennari? I think that's what they're called.
Yennari.
Yeah. But it's not. But the rest of the Drakari Empire hasn't signed on, right? Just like the Azarayan, right? The actual Eldari haven't signed on, right? Just like the Exodites have not signed on to the whole idea of like the Eldar Empire in and of it, like all the warring factions are not like, okay.
Oh, I love how they can have a need amongst them, and they just go, "Hey, chill. How you doing?"
Yeah.
And it's like, oh wow, it's one of our pantheon.
Yeah.
Has arrived.
Yeah. No. Don't get me wrong. It's cool. I just kind of want to see more story-wise.
I agree with you. I agree with you. I think not returning them, but maybe getting a measure of their kind of greatness back.
Yeah.
Requires something like that.
Yeah. I don't know, asides Primarchs, I don't know how else, like, because what I don't want to have happen is because what Games Workshop has done in the past is be very one-dimensional. Space Marines versus Chaos, or Space Marines versus Necrons, or Space Marines versus Tyranids now, or Space Marines versus Orgs.
Squats is not one-dimensional.
Oh God! When they reintroduced the squats, I was really hoping that they advanced the storyline in some way. It kind of sucks. I'm not gonna lie.
Space Wolves. Space Wolves.
Nothing's wrong with the what are they called? The Leagues of Votan. But I wish when they
Except that they don't belong anywhere.
Yeah.
They're mercenaries essentially.
Yeah, I just wish when they reintroduced the leagues that they did something meaningful with the story. Because that's kind of That's kind of, I think, my biggest gripe with Games Workshop when they introduce factions, new factions, or update factional lore, is that unless it affects the story, it's very minor, right? Like it's so minor. Like we're talking about like, oh hey, when are the new Primarchs going to drop? Like we should have the kind of same like gusto when it comes to like, hey, when is this new faction going to change the story in some way, shape, or form? Like the fact that the Great Rift has opened up, and the fact that Primarchs are returning, they should focus on other factions too, to give those players a say in the story, in my opinion. Like every, and I understand that when it comes to Games Workshop, Space Marines is their I'm going to print money button. You know, it's what keeps the lights on. But I would love to see another faction, another starter box with a faction that's like, hey, bah, here's a 10th edition faction, gives the same treatment, and it affects the story this way. And it,
Ta-da!
yeah,
Exodites.
yeah, Exodites, or ta-da, Leagues of Votan, and they're fighting against the Necrons because one of the Necrons has taken one of their what's it called, one of the ancestor AIs, right? Like, ta-da! Like something big to where it affects the story in other ways. That's my take on it. Um, but yeah, I think, I don't know. I think that needs to happen in order for other factions to get, have their time in the sun. Because sooner or later it's going to turn into Horus Heresy Part 2 Electric Boogaloo. Like you're not bringing back Primarchs for no reason, in my opinion. Um, but I would like to think that in this version of this Horus Heresy Redux, every race has a say in what happens. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm talking out of my ass. Who knows? But like, what would you want out of 40K? If you could like necessarily not write the end game, but like if you what you want to see point towards that end game.
Yeah, I want to see some love for non-human factions.
Yeah.
So, some good stuff expansion-wise for Tau. I think Orcs feed themselves, to be honest.
Oh yeah,
They're pretty
yeah.
good. Tyranids feed themselves, literally.
Quite literally.
Eldar, I think, need some love. I'd like to see. I don't know if Exodites is the right thing. They started down the Pirates path. Maybe
Oh, like the Corsair, the Eldar Corsair.
Corsair.
Yeah.
Maybe they expand on that. They could go to Corsair fleets. Maybe. I'm not sure though, because all the stuff that they've currently got is very very much craft lord based.
Yeah. Yeah.
But maybe they need to go away from craft lord. Like, I don't know, Dark Eldar are pretty good. Pretty solid foundationally. Look, it'd be fantastic if they released Jagatai Khan with the opposing force being Dark Eldar.
Ooh.
He gets out.
Oh
somehow,
yeah.
Like maybe Cypher saves him, as an example.
And he's coming for comeuppance. Yeah.
Actually, that's one interesting thing. They haven't dealt with the whole Lions back and Cypher.
Well, so actually, if you look on Black Library, in about a day, they're actually releasing
and I'll read the preface of it because it actually this is another book I'm going to get. It's called Cypher, Lord of the Fallen. It releases the 15th of July, so tomorrow. Cypher has slipped his slippery bonds on Holy Terror itself, hunted by some of the most powerful forces, the Imperium Commissar. Can he complete his mission before he's apprehended? And then it talks about the Great Rift unfolds in the night sky, terror above terror. Demons walk upon the birth world of mankind. Rabute Gilliman returns, heralding a new dark age. During the breaking of the storm, Cypher and the Fallen have escaped the most secure prison in the Imperium, and are now loose in the Imperial planets, hunted by the Dark Angels and the Custodes and the Imperial assassins. What's Cypher's intentions? Can anyone be trusted? As told from Cypher's own unreliable point of view, this tale is truths, lies, and secrets seen from one of the most infamous, mysterious figures in Imperial history. But what are the true motivations of the Lord of the Fallen? I hope he runs into the lion. I hope he does. That would. Why?
I'd love to hear a good news story for them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean by that?
Yeah. What do you mean?
Well, like where they come together and they go, like there's that tense scene. It's like, hey Dad, how you doing? And then Dad, scornfully looks at him and then walks towards him, pulls out his sword, and then gives it to him at the last moment. Says, you're forgiven.
Yeah, so
something like that.
So that actually has
so few good stories in 40 days.
So God, I don't want to spoil The Lion for you if you haven't read it.
Just do it.
No, because it's really good. I tweeted about it so Mike Brooks, the author, put out a tweet the other day about like, oh, you guys really liked the Lion book. Let me see if I can't find the actual tweet that I told him. Hold on. Replies. Let's see if it's in there. Okay, yeah. So Mike Brooks tweeted this. He was like, "Oh, you really like Primarchs, don't you? I'm glad the book has seemed to make everyone happy. Thanks everyone who read it, especially maybe the guys at Goodreads who gave it 1 star as soon as they stopped reading a neo pronoun." Yeah. Apparently people did not like that, but oh well, screw them. And I had replied. I was like, the book is a fantastic listen to. I wish I could have read it cover to cover. Full-time dad, active duty, so audiobook it is. What made it great was the fact that he humanized the lion and gave the lion perspective and depth, before and after the actions of his actions about the heresy. Like, unfortunately, and I do say this with some kind of some in my truth. I think the reason why I didn't get into the Horus heresy at the beginning was because, through no fault of the writer's own, I felt like the Primarchs weren't relatable. Like, I didn't like reading about the Primarchs and how they were bitching and complaining about Dad, in some way, shape, or form. But the new, and maybe it was because I wasn't at the point where I'm at now, where I can kind of appreciate that. Maybe, I mean, it might be my fault. Who knows? Um, but the fact that they're humanized now, the fact that I love Dark Imperium, the fact that I love the Lion, like I think they're hitting a tone that I can appreciate. I don't know. So there's that. It's not that I don't like the story of the Horus Heresy. I just for some reason I just can't get into it. Um, then of course again I was reading it when I wasn't when I was younger, so there's that too. But yeah, I enjoyed it. Um, but yeah, I'd love to see the story kind of continue in one way, shape, or form with other factions. And they don't necessarily have to be like ground shaking, like oh the plot, the plot thickens in like the contrite way. It can be bite sized, but give that excitement of oh the story is evolving in a way that maybe people didn't predict. Um, it doesn't have to be like end all be all, if that makes any sense.
No,
Um,
and I think there are micro steps on the journey that they could explore, rather than just having these big jumps
in the lore, yeah.
in the lore. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, oh man, I can't wait to see. I would love to see what they do with Fulgrim, like how they model Fulgrim, because they explain that he's obviously a snake demon, but they never. It's always up to artists' interpretation of how snaky is, how demonic he looks. Like obviously he's got the was it the six arms and the snake body, but they
Well,
or is it the
they go off
forearms?
existing models, right, as well.
Yeah,
So rather than coming up with something new, they end up looking like those, those sepulchre stalkers.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
think that Marathi is also
yeah,
modeled off.
yeah.
So like snake people can only look like that. Um, Whereas they could come up with something completely different. Like it doesn't have to be snakes; it could be lizards.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So then they might have four legs, as an example, and have tails.
Yeah, I would love to. I would love to see how they model him. Same thing with Perturabo. I would love to see Perturabo's post heresy model, um, and what he potentially looks like. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Like man, yeah, there's just a lot that I think that Games Workshop could do that maybe they won't do, maybe they will at some point in time. But I mean, we're getting up to 40 years of Warhammer. Um, 40 years of Games Workshop. So it's sooner or later I would like to think that they do something big. Um,
They
and that
did. They released a new version of 40k.
no, 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 as in like story wise, you know. Um, I haven't played 10th edition yet. Have you managed to get a good game in? Like,
No,
no? Okay.
no, not yet. My group is not at that stage yet.
Ah, okay. Because I would love to get someone's opinion on it if 10th is decent. Because what I would dread is that like I go through all this work, painting and all that stuff, and then 10th is just rubbish. uh,
I tend to think of it as I just do it out of the hobby and
yeah. Well, I
um,
honestly
wanting to progress it.
I love I love playing the game. I love playing the game. I even played during the not so decent time of I think fifth was not the most favorite, or maybe it was sixth. Um, where people just didn't like the edition and the rule sets that came with it. Mainly because I love playing the game and I love talking to people and their armies and all that stuff, and whatnot. So, all right, but it is almost time for me to sign off because it's about to be dinner time. Are you going to be around later, or are you busy?
I may be.
Okay.
So, likely yes.
I'm thinking Darktide or Vermintide if you're up for it.
Yeah, both. It's fine for me.
All right. All right. Thank you for joining me and chatting with me for a bit.
All right.
All right. Thank you everyone who watched. Thank you everyone who followed. And thank you everyone who support the channel in ways that just obviously watching and doing and viewing and all that stuff. I will be back later, probably around 2000 Japan Standard. And I'll talk to you guys then. My name is Commissar Hecht, and thank you for watching. Bye.
Bye.